Hello travellers, it's Jay here. With 1.0 right around the corner, I thought I would do a little build showcase on what I've been playing leading up to the release of 1.0. And I actually leveled this character with a friend. So this is a Ravaging Aura Void Knight. Now, a lot of people are going to hear Ravaging Aura and go, oh, what's Ravaging Aura? I've never heard of that. That's not a Void Knight ability. It's not a base Sentinel ability. What is it? Well, it's actually similar to Shadow Daggers on the Rogue tree, where it's a skill that you get from another ability, in this case, Void Cleave. It's a damage over time spell with huge damage effectiveness and a little bit of life drain, but honestly, you don't even feel the life drain because we have such high leech on this build. So you activate it by hitting with Void Cleave, and you get this purple aura around you. Now, the actual damage of the skill is a little bit on the lower end, but because of the way you scale it, you're stacking so much vitality, so much health, so much armor. You just feel really thick. So it makes the overall playstyle, while being a little bit on the lower DPS, just feels really good because you can just wade into enemies and tank it and sustain all the way with. When we have Anomaly up, we get about 40% leech between damage and spell leech. A lot of leech. Now let's take a look at the skills. I was leveling this with a friend, so I just picked the skills in the order I unlocked them, so I was leveling with Vengeance. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you really have to, rush this node here for the global increased damage, and then head over to the less damage taken. Now we have free ripostes on this build, but because we have free ripostes, we lose a little bit of damage reduction. So here we have 16%, and then we get 25% from here. So it's not awful. It's still a lot of damage reduction. We also get an extra 50% armor, which, if we hit an enemy here, we go up to about 3k armor, which is very respectable. Uh, next skill, Void Cleave, the big one, the main one. This is where the bulk of the damage comes because it procs Abyssal Echoes, which is doing overwhelmingly the majority of the damage in this build in, honestly, single target and to an extent clear. Less noticeable on clear, but on single target, this is the heavy hitter. But the main one is Ravaging Aura, right? Ravager. This node here unlocks Ravaging Aura up to 10 seconds when you hit. Here, I've got 2 points in it just to make it feel a little better. You can drop points in here. You can put an extra point in here so you get 3 seconds of Ravaging Aura per enemy hit. It's going to give you a little bit better uptime on single target. But for me, 2 points works because the cooldown is about 2.2 seconds with all of my buffs up. So that's how we're getting Ravaging Aura. And as you can see here, 350% effectiveness of spell damage. That is huge. Once you take this node, uh, I would beeline down to here, then grab Abyssal Echoes to increase our single target, then go here for the increased area of Ravaging Aura and the massive flat spell damage gain. And then you can start filling out these nodes here to make it into a traversal skill. This allows you to use Void Cleave without a target. And now, because we're using Void Cleave, it means we can only use a two-handed axe or a two-handed sword, which means Dreamthorn is our best in slot. You can also use a what's it called? Hold on now. Let me just go and look. Two-handers. Here we go. Hollow Blade. But it needs to be really well rolled. Basically, it needs to have either exalted damage over time, exalted void damage, attack speed, uh, chance to chill, chance to slow, maybe frailty. You can also go for chance to blind. We'll talk about that in a minute. But really, Dreamthorn, if you get a good Dreamthorn with a good slam, like this is tier 6 damage over time, this will carry you. I've been using this since level 15. It's really insane. The 40% Void Pen is basically just 40% more damage for the build. Now, Abyssal Echoes. I talked about how this is overwhelmingly the biggest portion of our damage in the build for single target, to a lesser extent clear. Uh, Abyssal Echoes works a little weirdly. So what it does, if we go over here, it applies a debuff called Abyssal Decay to the enemy. And Abyssal Decay does damage over, is it 6 seconds? Yeah, 6 seconds. So you put that on, and if you hit the enemy, it takes all the damage at once, which also another reason why we're using Vengeance in the build. It allows us to proc that damage and deal damage a bit faster on single target. Doesn't make you do more damage, just makes you do it faster. So the important nodes to get here are for pure single target, you want to get all the spell void damage. The area will help you on clear a little bit. Again, more damage, no longer chains. We don't really care about the chains because we're not really using it for clear. This is more like the area is nice when you hit a rare enemy because our Void Cleave also applies it. So you hit a rare enemy with that and it will hit stuff around it. Then you can also get the Abyssal Echo Rifts. It really doesn't matter too much how you take these nodes. I was also using the spreading distance for a little bit, but Abyssal Decay Duration. Now this will also increase your damage because the longer it's doing damage for, when you hit them and proc all of that damage, you'll get a bigger overall hit. Now I wasn't able to confirm, but potentially this node here, the damage versus blinded, will apply, but it's been bugged for a very long time, and I have not been able to confirm if it's fixed or not. So if it is, feel free to leave it in the comments, please help me out, but I haven't been able to find it. Anomaly, to the next skill. This is where we're getting a lot of our leech from this node here and these nodes here. This just takes all the leech we have when Anomaly is active and doubles it. No, sorry, triples it. Yeah, because 100% would be doubled, 200% tripled. Sure. Now, the order you take these skills in matters a little bit. First ones is you want the time bubble, then you definitely want to get immediacy. You don't need immediacy, but it means if you don't have immediacy, you proc it, and then you have to pop it again to get the buffs. So time bubble is what I go for, followed by immediacy, then followed by Time Lord for the time bubble on you. This is what allows us to walk around with it active. Now, you are going to need all the duration and the cooldown to be able to permanently sustain it. If you want, you can also take the linger, but I have no downtime. If you have slightly worse gear, you might need the linger, but I haven't bothered with it. This is global cooldown recovery we get here. These were some of the last nodes I took because I went for the leech after I got the time bubble. So yeah, get the time bubble duration, then max out the leech, fill out the cooldown. Feels really good. Makes our leech it's great. I love Anomaly. Any Void Knight build I get to play, if I can use Anomaly, makes it 10 times better in my opinion. It just looks really cool. So I love that skill. And Volatile Reversal. It's not the bad Volatile Reversal. I know a lot of people don't like it, but really we're only using this on single target and bigger rares just to increase our damage. We have all of the enemy damage taken nodes, the enemy damage over time taken. Now these stack, so we're getting 90% damage, and both Void Rifts here will proc it, so we're actually getting 180% damage. It's more damage on enemies. That's why what you'll do is you'll rush in, pop Volatile Reversal, and everything suddenly takes a massive damage spike. It feels really good just deleting packs by popping Volatile Reversal. I have 3 extra points in it. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about that. All you do is you drop these nodes here and 1 node here. Now, in terms of priority, you want to go up here for the cooldown recovery speed, the damage over time taken, then the enemy damage taken, and the last nodes I was taking were warped time for the global attack speed. Alright, that's the skills out of the way. That was nice and quick, I think, anyway. Let's look at the passives. Now this is a lot of points in base sentinel. I do not like putting that many points in base sentinel, but there's not really a whole lot else to take, and there are some pretty good ones. Strength, fire res, void res, you know, what more do I need to say? Vitality, again, huge HP. This is like the only less damage taken node in Sentinel. Every build uses it as far as I'm aware. Cooldown recovery for movement skills. Guess what Void Cleave is? Yep, movement skill. 30% increased movement speed. Cooldown recovery speed for Void Cleave. And some health. Great. Now, because we're using Vengeance, this node here, Time of Faith, the health gain and the mana gain, every time we swing, we get mana and health back. The health gain is kind of whatever because we have such high leech, but the mana gain is really nice because when you're void cleaving around and spamming anomaly, it helps us stay topped up. And then more attack and cast speed. This allows us to hit more with Vengeance and one, maintain the riposte buffs, and two, get out those, knock those abyssal decays off the enemy to do more damage. Alright, Void Knight. We basically have every HP node, flat void damage node for spells and attacks, and just any percentage increases and leech. Like, Void Knight tree, it's not the most exciting, but there's good stats in there, you know. Big ones here are Eternal Form for the vitality and the increased health. This is a pretty ridiculous passive here. Void Aegis, this is a little bit of reduced damage taken. Quite nice when it actually procs. I would put more points here. I am only level 93. I need to finish off maxing out Dread for the increased damage and move speed. Here, health and strength. And then I'll probably put all my remaining points in Void Aegis. This node here, Finality. I love the melee kill threshold. I love builds that can actually utilize melee kill threshold. So this feels great to me. I wouldn't recommend dropping it if there were any nodes that I would maybe say you could drop if you want to put them in Paladin somewhere, maybe to get some more Ellie res if you need it. Maybe Doom Knight. These nodes aren't great. It's kind of whatever, just some strength and health. Now, let's go over the gear. I already went over Dreamthorn. That's our best in slot. I won't go over that again. Helmet. This is basically just tank stats all the way. Vitality, you'd want double health, maybe some endurance. I have triple +3 volatile reversal. You don't need that. You can also get like spell void damage and percent void damage. You can get void damage over time. You get plus the level of abyssal echoes, plus the level of anomaly. You know, anything works there really. Same with the chest, tank stats, void damage over time, percent health. Rings. Spell damage works, void damage works, damage over time. You get strength to scale your armor, and then I'm using mine to fill out my critical strike avoidance. I'm actually over capped now because I got a decent blessing, and you'd want health here as well, preferably. This is the best belt I've managed to get, like, for all of multiplayer. I don't know why, I just can't seem to get belts, but again, you just want tank stats and cooldown. Prefixes don't matter all that much here. Same ring. Gloves. Now these gloves are pretty alright, but I would honestly prefer area for area skills on the prefixes. The damage over time is really nice though because it is a little tough to scale the damage high in this build. Boots, again, tank stats, cooldown. Now my relic's probably the worst piece of gear, don't look at it too much. But here you would want void plus levels of void cleave, damage over time or void damage, health, chance to apply frailty. And the only other unique we're using in the build is Bleeding Heart. This isn't necessary, I just have one with 3 LP. You could also use a Bone Amulet. Bone Amulet would be nice. An Oracle Amulet, or an Aurora's Time Glass if you want it to be tankier. In fact, Aurora's is actually a pretty good shout now that I'm thinking about it. I would definitely recommend trying out an Aurora's if you have one. Idols. There's quite a lot of options for idols in this build actually. This is one of them. Increase void damage for 4 seconds when a skill echoes. When we're attacking, you can see... Come on, can we get a proc? Come on now. Come on. Come on. There we go. Wow, that was ridiculous. I thought I was going to have to stop the clip there. When we get the echo like that, that void damage is global. So we get a little bit of increased void damage. We're swinging. We basically have permanent uptime on this. And you also have health suffixes, void damage over time, resistances, a lot of good suffixes on there. And then I'm using idols here to kind of fill out my res, because I've really struggled with gearing this character. Overall luck on gear has been quite bad, but you would probably just want double HP idols and go full chonk. You can quite easily break 4k life. I saw Perry go well over 4k life when he played this about a year ago. This idol here, probably the best idol I've had on the character. Chance to gain inspiration. Inspiration, does it say? Yep. 20% increased cooldown recovery for 4 seconds. This is permanently up basically while you're running monos. So that feels really nice, having that little bit extra cooldown. Helps with our void cleave. And there's some more void damage over time there. Alright. I feel like I maybe rushed this a bit. I'm sorry for that. I have been streaming it. If you have any questions... What is my character doing? He's moonwalking. If you have any questions, you can head on over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/jtheproduct. I'm live most nights around 7 p.m. UK time. I'm going to leave you guys with some gameplay. I haven't been able to kill tier 4 Jura because ever since the Rune Master patch, tier 4 Jura just doesn't want to work for me. Like the D ability, it just doesn't work. I cannot get it to reliably activate, so I saved myself from doing Jura to not go insane. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I hope you're excited for 1.0 because I am, and I'll see you then. Bye.
An eternity of pain, unchanging. This means nothing. The end will come.